Hi, please welcome to the part 15 of this video series. Here we are covering AZ 304 important exam questions. Now, if you have gone through my previous videos on AZ 900, DP 900, etc., you must have seen that the chances of same or similar questions coming in the exam is pretty high. You will read the comments and you can find out that a lot of people passed with flying colors. Please subscribe to my channel because this channel is totally dedicated to help you complete your cloud certifications. For questions 1 to 95, please refer parts 1 to 14 of this video series. Let's dive into the questions. So this is a setting and this is a question. So let's see the question first. The first one, the amount of time that the SQL Insights data will be stored in the blob storage. It is asking for how many days it will be stored in the blob storage. Let's look at the setting now. If I see SQL Insights, the retention days is 90, hence this answer should be 90. This is my answer for the first question, 90 days. Let's see the second question. The maximum amount of time that SQL Insights data can be stored in Azure Analytics. It's not for how long it will be stored, the maximum amount of time. That's a keyword. So let's see. So if you see this documentation, the retention period can be between 30 to 730 days. So the maximum retention period is 730 days. See, in this question, it is not asking from the setting it has done. It is asking what is the maximum amount. So this is coming from the documentation and this is 730 days. These are our two answers. Let's move forward. So this is the question. So this is the scenario, and if you see, this is a question. So let's try to first understand the scenario here. You have these storage and workspace, and these are the locations. Everything is in East US. And what kind of service is this? Is this a storage? Is this or not applicable, etc.? What you are doing is you create a SQL database named DB1, and you are hosting in US East. So everything is US East, so not a problem. And then you create a setting, diagnostic setting one, and setting one is archiving to SQL Insights to storage one, and send SQL Insights to workspace one. To storage one and workspace one, that is perfectly fine because the database is in US East region and everything is US East, so this will work. Okay, now we are asking about the question. Let's see the first question. It is saying you can add a new diagnostic setting that archives SQL Insights logs to storage 2. New setting similar to this, but it will archive to storage 2 instead of storage 1. This was archiving to storage 1. Storage 2 it can archive because it is a kind of V2 and in East US. So this is yes. So our first option or first question answer is yes. The second question says you can add a new diagnostic setting that sends SQL Insights to workspace 2. Yes, you can send it to workspace 2. Similar to what you did here, you send this to workspace 1. Workspace 1 was in East US. Workspace 2 is also in East US, and you can do that. So that's why the answer is yes. You can add a new diagnostic setting that sends SQL Insights to Hub 1. That is also possible because this is still in East US and this is the Event Hub. You can do that. You can put your logs on the Event Hub. The answer, finally, this is the final answer. All three are yes. Let's move to the next question. Now let's look at this question. So the story goes is you have an Azure subscription and you have Active Directory tenants. The subscription contains 10 resource groups, one for each department at your company. For example, if your company has finance, sales, software development, these three departments, or similar to that, there are 10 departments. For uh, the subscription will contain 10 resource groups, one for each department. That means there is one resource group for each department, one for finance, one for sales, one for ID, etc. Each department has a specific spending limit for its Azure resources. So this is required because they exactly want to know what is the stuff people are spending and they want to cap that. You need to ensure that when a department reaches its spending limit, the compute resources of the department shuts down automatically. Okay, though this is not a very efficient way, but in some cases where people have been given warning, let's say one or two or three warnings, and still they are seeing that there are cost overshoots, then this is the mechanism they do. So which two features we should include in the solution? So I will again tell you, suppose you are in a finance department and your spending limit, you have a subscription and you have resource groups, there is a spending limit defined. The moment that is crossed, the compute resources will be shut down. Now you want to know which two features you should include to achieve this. Let's scan through the options. Option A, Logic Apps. So this is what Logic Apps is. It's a cloud platform for creating and running automated workflows that integrate with apps, data, and etc. You want to create an automated workflow. Suppose there is an app, the data will come from the app, then it will go to the data services and so on. You want to create that kind of workflow. You can do that through Logic Apps. Here you don't require to create such a workflow. You want to cap the spending limit and you want to shut down the computer automatically. So logic apps will not help you with this. So monitor alerts, yes, this is something which we'll make use of it, because whenever your metrics get overshooted, for example, CPU usage, compute usage, etc., whenever that metrics is overshot, an alert will be sent, and that alert will be used for restricting or cost management purposes. So that's why B is the right answer. But we want one more answer. See, spending limit will only limit the amount. Suppose you have when you're creating a new account, you get a free $200 credit, and if you got this credit, you cannot change this amount unless you upgrade the plan. Then only it will change. So that is your spending limit. And under $200, free whatever resources you create, you can spend. But it will not help you with this. Suppose you reach $200, then automatically your compute services will be stopped. It will not do this. You can only do that through cost management budgets. You can create budgets and you can use the combination of monitor alerts and budgets so that the compute resources are shut down. And log analytics alerts, so if there are logs and you, based on the logs, you want to generate alerts. For example, a resource has been created, a VM has been created, and based on that you want to generate alerts, then you can do that through log analytics alerts. But it will not help you to control the spending limit, or when the spending limit is, the threshold is crossed, the compute resources of the department should automatically shut down. It will not help you with this. So E is wrong. These are our two final answers. We'll lock this. Now let's look at this question. So basically, there are some issues happening with your web app, and you have given recommendations to enable live monitoring and etc. Now you need help, like you need to recommend a solution to set up smart alerting. For setting up smart alerts for this type of issue, you want to set up a solution. Now, what do you recommend? Let's look at the options. Option A. See, site recovery is used for disaster recovery solutions. Here, there is no requirement for building a disaster recovery. If you have a separate disaster recovery solution and you have to build this, then you can use site recovery. Here, there is no use. A is wrong. Now, data lake analytics and monitor alerts. Why would you store the data in data lake? In this case, what will happen is this is an application. So application insight is what you should use for, and along with Azure Monitor Logs. That is what you should use. Data lake analytics will not help you here. It is used for big data and massively parallel jobs. If you want to create, here there is no need to create massively parallel jobs. Here you have to monitor stuff and you have to set up smart alerting. So B will not help you with that. Let's see option C. Application insights. You see this, use it to monitor your live applications. We have a live application. Yes, you advise your company to implement a live monitoring. So it's an application, it's a live application, you are implementing live monitoring. This is what you should use. And you want to set up smart alerting to detect anomalies in the data. You see this, it automatically detects performance anomalies and includes powerful analytics tool to help you diagnose issues and to understand what users actually do with your app. So this is something which is very important and will totally align with our question. So we think that C is our answer, but let's still look at option D, Azure Security Center and Data Lake Store. We don't need a Data Lake Store here because we are not dealing with big data. There is no clue here that there is big data, so Data Lake Store is not required. Security Center. See, Security Center is a unified infrastructure security management system, and it improves your security posture of your data centers. If you have a data center and then you want to improve the security, you want to monitor each and everything at one place at a central location, then security center is of use. Here in this case, there is no such clue in this question that there is a security issue or there is a data center and you have to do some security monitoring. This is application monitoring, not security monitoring, and hence D will not it is not aligning with this use case. So we will lock this answer and move forward. Let's look at this question. So this is the story. I mean, there are a lot of settings and etc. This is a story. You can read this. You can pause this video and read this. Now this is the actual question. There are three questions and you have to answer either yes or no. Let's look at the question. It says, when you enable auditing for SQL database 1, you can store the audit information to storage 1. So this is SQL DB 1, and when you enable auditing here, so it's saying you can store it, the audit logs, in storage 1. So here SQL DB 1 is a part of resource group 1, which is on SQL Server 1, and this is a standard tier. That's fine. So storage 1 is also a part of RG1. So this is good because it's a part of RG1. It's the same resource group, so you can store it. And this storage is in East US. And if you see SQL Server 1, SQL Server 1, where RG group belongs to SQL Server 1, it is also in East US. Perfect. This is yes. So we got the answer here. This is yes. The first question is yes. Now let's see the second question. When you enable auditing for SQL DB2, you can store the audit information in storage 2. Now here SQL DB2, it's a part of RG1, and SQL Server 1. So let's go here and see storage 2. It is asking to store it in storage 2. Wrong. Storage 2 is in central US, whereas SQL Server 1 is in East US. This is SQL Server 1. You see this? This is SQL Server 1. This is SQL Server 1. This is in East US. East US. And here storage 2, you have to storage 2, it is in central US. The locations are different. The location has to be same. Plus the resource groups are different. You see this? This is RG2. SQL DB2 is RG1. Okay, so the location is the primary stuff that is making this answer no. You cannot store. So this is no. Let's see the third option or third question. When you enable auditing for SQL DB3, you can store the audit information to storage 2. For SQL DB3, if you see this, this is a part of RG2, and storage 2 is also a part of RG2. Perfect, fantastic. But this is part of SQL Server 2. SQL Server 2 is in West US, storage 2 is in Central US. It will still not match. The answer is no. So thus we got the three answers for these three questions. Please subscribe to my channel and like my videos. If you have any constructive comments, please drop in your comments, or if you have any appreciation, you can drop in that as well. This brings us to the end of part 15 of this video series. I will see you in the next part. Thank you.